So I'll just quickly rush through the rules of writing an abstract, title and keywords. Actually, if I take a lesson on this, it may go up to more than 1.5 hours. Okay, I'll just quickly rush through the rules of writing a. Okay, if the title is not good, I'll not look at the paper. I'll not even bother to read the paper. So a title should be complete. Okay, suppose you're doing a clinical trial. The design of the clinical trial, whether it is open, randomized, placebo-controlled, active controlled, the whole this one should come in the title of a clinical title of a paper, right? So the title should be complete yet small. Okay, sweet, short and sweet. Okay, and like search engines, all the search engines, including Medline, use the title for retrieving your article. So if you do not write a title properly, your article will not be retrieved and quoted. So the impact, your quoting of the article will decrease. Be as descriptive as possible, but be short, right? What you have done should come out in the title of a clinical study, but at the same time, you have to be short. Okay. Simple words, very simple words. Do not use jargons, do not use like what they use for movie titles or anything. So do not use anything. Simple English language, plain and simple English language. Do not use abbreviations, do not use Roman numerals. So much so that you do not abbreviate for ions. Do not write Ca2+ or anything. Write calcium. Okay, do not abbreviate. And for organisms, write the scientific name in full, no E. coli. Even though you'll find that many of the journals, titles, you will have E. coli. Do not write E. coli, write the full name. Refer to chemicals and drugs by the generic names. Do not write brand names. If you want, later on, if some company has sponsored your study, later on in the paper, you can write the brand name in the bracket. Okay. And do not use Roman numerals. Okay, do not use Roman numerals. Please write 8th, 9th, 10th, something like that. Do not use Roman numerals. Okay, so the title should clearly indicate the full breadth, what all the article encompasses. And do not put a conclusion into a title. Okay, let us say a simple example. You're testing the anticonvulsant activity of a certain drug, and at the end of the study, you find that the drug has got anticonvulsant effect. Right? You're using a maximal electroshock method. There's a certain method for doing this study. In the title, you should write effect of so and so drug on electroshock induced convulsions. Do not write anticonvulsant activity of such and such a drug. Anticonvulsant activity is a conclusion. Do not write the conclusion in the title of a study. That is wrong. Right? And do not write a study of. Why do you need to write study of? A study of the anticonvulsant effect. There's no point in writing a study of. Study of doesn't generally find a place in the title of any study. Okay, do not write a study of. A study of is unnecessary. Okay, and generally keep your title to less than 15 words. So all of us know what is an abstract. Title is good. I proceed further to read an abstract. Otherwise, I don't read an abstract. Abstract, the length of the abstract varies between the journals. And if you're publishing in an index journal and you want your abstract to appear on the Medline, the length of the abstract should not exceed 400 words. Okay, in a Word document, you can easily do a word count. Do a word count before you publish any study, before you write the abstract of any study. Right? Abstract is something which should be written at the end. Actually, this should have better come at the end of the whole discussion, but because of some constraints, I am forced to take this at the beginning of the our discussions. So the article encompasses the whole lesson, right from the aim, like so said the IMRAT format. It right from the aim of the study till the conclusion, right? So these are the advantages of an abstract. How many of you read a full article? I think none of us read a full article. In fact, so much so even when we write our own thesis protocol, we do not read the full paper. All abstracts are structured. Okay, there is no question of not structuring an abstract. Only thing is some journals wanted to put aims, objectives, methods, results. Okay, some journals will not want you to put that, but all abstracts are structured. Okay, do not think that just because you are writing aim, objective, it is a structured abstract. Even if you are not doing that, it is structured. Only thing is you are just writing it continuously without putting these things. So all abstracts by and large are structured. There is no such thing as an unstructured abstract. Right. So to shorten your browsing time, most of us read only the abstract and quote from the abstracts. There are two types of abstracts. One for the review articles, that is called the indicative abstract, and most of us what we need is the informative abstract. Informative abstract is for a study, is for a research. So it is again based on the IMRAD format. So why the study was done, what was done, what was found, why it was found, etc. is not written in the abstract. That is for the paper discussion. And then the answer, a short single sentence answer as to what exactly or why exactly this thing was found. So we organize it as purpose, materials and methods, results, analysis and conclusions. Okay, so 10%, the 10% of the total length of the abstract goes to the purpose. State the contents of why you did the study. 30 to 35% for the materials and methods. Indicate exactly what you've used, including the statistical methods. 35 to 40% for the results. Write about the results, 35 to 40%. And discussions, most important thing learned from the study. That constitutes about 25% of the total length of the abstract. That's how we organize. I'll just tell you again. So purpose is 10%, material and method 30 to 35%, results 35 to 40%, and discussion or the conclusion 25%. This is an abstract from the New England Journal of Medicine, and look at the way it has been written. It's one of very good abstracts. Okay, I'll not go through the lesson. Just read for yourself. So mark the background as A, the question purpose as B1, what was done B2 and C. Okay, I'll just give you 2 minutes time. Just go through what was done. What was found? Results. Conclusions. Last thing, only thing which they are left out is the implication of the study. Right. So even in a very reputed journal, at least some part of the abstract is incomplete. All of us at the end of the abstract would like to know the implications of the study. Okay, what exactly the study do you want the readers to take home message that is missing even in this abstract. So structured abstract, so objectives, study design, setting, patients, right? This is again a beautiful abstract. There's a difference. In a single journal, 4 different papers. These are the 4 different types of structures. So structured abstract varies between journals. There are certain rules, no abbreviations or symbols, no citation of references. A few journals need references in the abstract, no tables of figures, no information not contained in the text, no jargon, no words, you do not coin your own abbreviations. Okay, look at this, read this. Bovine aortic endothelial cells in culture were treated with so culture for 30 minutes and were then washed and harvested. Why it was done is not known. Okay, this is the thing you're missing. Why it was done is not there. We studied plasma cholesterol metabolism. Why you studied plasma cholesterol metabolism? You revise it. So you specify both the independent and the dependent variable. Okay, you specify what depends on what. Answer is not stated. This could partly explain the high incidence of atherosclerosis in older male smokers. Okay, if you revise it, look at the way you can change. Mixing of contents. This is a very common problem. You give the results in the conclusion section. This is very common. Lack of coherence. Look at the number of abbreviations in this. Can you make any sense of this? Even if you read it 10 times, I can't make any sense out of this abstract. Okay, do not, more than 3 abbreviations, readers just cannot follow. Respectively. P is less than 0.05, comma, less than 0.025, comma, less than 0.01, respectively. What do you understand? You cannot correlate unless you take a pen and a paper, write, sit down and write. You cannot follow this article. You cannot follow this result. Okay, so avoid excessive detail by reporting data only for the most important results. Other secondary conclusions. It should follow what aim is there in your study. Report results in the abstract only for that aim. If you have derived any conclusion beyond that, let it come in the main body of the paper. Do not give it in the abstract. And provide a percent change. Do not say blood pressure decreased from 140 by 90 mmHg to 120 by 80 mmHg. Just provide a percent change. It's much more easier to follow. Only one other. Let us take one example. Can somebody revise this? Cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of morbidity and mortality in patients with chronic kidney disease. Impaired cardiovascular functioning is a manifestation of either cardiac or autonomic or vascular dysfunction in these patients. Somebody? I'll give just 2 minutes to. Why do you say that cardiac this one is the most important cause?
No. What is it supposed to be? Is it title or?
No. It's this opening statement of this is the opening statement in of the abstract. Can somebody change it to a better? This is just cut paste from a journal. No. Okay, let me put it.
You don't need the second sentence.
Yeah, you don't need. That's it. It's very simple. Very simple. Okay, you don't need the second sentence. Right. You can modify it like cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of morbidity and mortality in patients with chronic kidney disease. Okay, that's it. Why do you need the second statement? Our aim was to non-invasively quantify. Anyway, we'll leave this. It will take a lot of time. Look at this closing statement. The observation showed that there was significant analgesic and anti-inflammatory effect for venlafaxine. Okay, in what? Okay, we do not know. Okay, in what? These are actual abstracts. You write a paper, it gets published. Somewhere it'll. Okay. So again, we'll go through the lesson. So purpose of the report: what was done, what was found or learned. That's the result, and what is the importance or the implications of these findings. Just the 4 simple lesson. Keywords. Keywords vary from journal to journal. See, the best thing for you to write a keyword is a mesh. Okay, go to the mesh. It's a medical subject headings. Go to google.com, put M capital, E small, S H. You will get this. You just put your what you are looking for. You will get the list of keywords. Or if you find that difficult, go to the related articles, related links. Go to the abstract of those articles and what keywords are there. You can put the same keywords. Okay. Mesh browser is there attached to the midline. And you can get your keywords from the mesh. Okay, and generally they require 7 or 8 keywords, not more than 7 or 8 keywords. And many of us, what we do, like anti-inflammatory effect of so-and-so drug in a rat model of inflammation. So what we put there as a keyword is anti-inflammatory, comma, effect, comma, rat, comma, model inflammation. That's what we put. Actually, that is wrong. If you start searching, what's the purpose of a keyword? Like you search for some other article, somebody else will be searching for your article. If you want your article to be quoted and cited by other people, then you had better put in good keywords, right? This is your group task. So the group 1, I want could you please write the title and the aim. Group 2, materials and methods. Group C, results. Group 4, conclusion and keywords. This study. I want you to criticize, comment, and rewrite. Yeah, I'll leave it on. I'll leave it on. Yeah, could you please regroup and sit? It'll be 1, 2, 3, and 4. It'll be easier. Any other group wishes to comment on this title?
It's short, beautiful, and big.
Yeah, with the point. Comparison of the effects of venlafaxine in a mice model of pain and inflammation. Yeah, you're already saying it is you're already saying it's an analgesic and anti-inflammatory
Effect. Oh, this is the objective, to compare the analgesic and anti-inflammatory effects of venlafaxine and aspirin in mice, whatever, blah, blah, then.
Yeah, could you just focus on the previous slide? Previous.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. See, in this context, quoting analgesic and anti-inflammatory will not be drawing conclusions. He's right. Okay, you're evaluating the analgesic and anti-inflammatory, comparing. What he has missed out is the comparison. Right. The second thing which is not evident from the data which I provided you is in what model, what sort of a model in mice, what sort of experiment in mice. That is not very obvious to anybody. The only thing which can be comprehended from the whole paper is the tail clip method, isn't it? Okay. Tail clip is for pain. For inflammation, what they've done, we do not know. Nothing. Right. So, as such, what he has said is, I agree with him, the data is insufficient to give anything better. Fine? All of you agree with me? Okay. It can be rewritten as comparison of the effects of venlafaxine and aspirin in a mouse or a mice model of inflammation and pain.
Mouse model of
Okay.
inflammation and
Pain. It can be that also.
Mouse model of inflammation and
Pain. Yeah. It's an animal model.
Objectives, we don't use mouse model in our. We hardly use
Okay.
mouse model in our objectives.
Okay. It can be used.
We were of the opinion to put comparison, but since we are going to say the same thing in objective and aim,
Aim,
we
yeah.
try to avoid that one and we put it as very simple.
Yeah, I agree with
This
you.
also signifies what is inside.
Yeah. Okay. So,
It's an evaluation.
yeah.
Therapeutic evaluation is there.
Okay.
See, the title itself has to be there, comparative therapeutic evaluation of in between these two. That has to come. Because already one known drug, you are comparing with an unknown drug.
Yeah. Yeah.
That has to be comparison, the evaluation, that is the evaluation.
Yeah.
Even in the conclusion when you are coming there, it's there, statistically you are speaking about the evaluation only, what you have evolved through it. So that should be there.
Yeah, comparison of the analgesic and anti-inflammatory effect of venlafaxine.
Don't you think there's a lot of difference between comparison and evaluation?
Why not, in what way?
Therapeutically, when you take comparison could be comparison could two common minimum points comparison, yes, comparison.
No.
The two non-differing common minimum points, that's the evaluation.
No.
Statistically,
Yeah, can I say something, sir? Here, we are trying to answer questions to an aim or objective. We are not trying to answer anything from the title. Title is not the objective, as for me. We are trying to answer it from the objective or aim. This is what we are trying to do. And again, when we say compare and evaluate, when we say compare, evaluation is inside that. Without evaluating the drug properties, everything, you cannot just say that comparison. Comparison has to be out of it only, of their effects and all. So it is redundant for me to put as evaluate.
When you use the word evaluation in this context, it is comparing and then making a value judgment on it. So that should come in the conclusions, need not come in the title.
So title comparison should right? I think it's done. This group is okay.
Another thing, there may be many ways of writing a title. Okay. Finally, there may be sometimes personal preference also matters. Okay. Sometimes, some authors like this title, some authors like some other title. But finally, when it goes to editorial board, editor might like some title. He might thrust the title upon the authors. That can also can happen.
Yeah. Finally, when a paper goes for evaluation, they will force you to write one title. Okay. The next, I think they have done a good job. Give them a big hand. Group 2.
Two things that we found missing. One is that the study design was not mentioned, the type. The other thing is that a response test for pain was mentioned as the tail clip method, but the response test for inflammation was not mentioned at all. So how do they assess the effect of these two medicines on inflammation was missing.
Venlafaxine, actually, it is an antidepressant drug. So it might have some analgesic property, but this drug is under experiment and study. So I am not very confident of the research question.
Animal models,
that
animal models of pain and inflammation.
in animal models for this tail flick method, it was correct.
Yeah, okay.
But rat paw.
Yeah. That, what actually is since this is a question of bioethics, there are a lot of ways in which inflammation can be induced in a rat. One of the most common is inducing in a rat paw, edema or there's an inflammation in a rat paw using a chemical, very irritant chemical. Okay, and this many of the journals now do not accept this as ethical. I think you'll be familiar with this. Many of the journals do not accept this as ethical. And the thing is, they have not given us the design, study design, like how many minutes after the tail clip was the efficacy measured. Okay, 90 minutes. What are the parameters which were measured? What was compared with what? Right. For a non-pharmacologist, for a layman, for somebody who is new to this field. So the comments, you cannot, I'll not expect you to rewrite the whole lesson. It's not possible for you to rewrite. The only thing is, as she has rightly commented, there are absolutely no parameters on which the comparison was based. And what statistical test was applied at the end of the lesson? That is not there, isn't it? So to rewrite, you need to have some knowledge of the methodology and whether it is a parametric method or a non-parametric method to be able to apply statistics, and what would you consider as significant.
Yes.
Right. All these concepts, all these this is not there in the lesson. So if you are a clinician and if you happen to read this, or if you are any other lesson, if you happen to read this, so these are the things which come to your mind. How was it evaluated? Many antidepressants are used in chronic pain. I think all of you will agree with me. Many antidepressants are used in chronic pain. So probably they have evaluated. It's a good thing they have done. But the point is they have not put forth the correct methodology and the correct lesson. So if you read the abstract, you are not able to evaluate what exactly was done. Okay. So I do not expect you to rewrite the whole lesson. For rewriting the whole thing, you need a basic knowledge of what exactly has been done. Fine? Okay. This point is clear lesson. So what is missing? What is lesson? What should be written, right? Okay.
In our group, we have a pharmacologist and I'm a non-pharmacologist.
Okay. No. It's okay. I don't blame anyone of you. Okay.
These were the two basic comments as in which we feel were missing. Besides that, the whole method was revised as in the context.
And as any statistician will tell you, N3, I think sample size of 3, I do not think you can derive at any significant conclusion. Okay, so these are the deficiencies. We are not pointing out as ethical students, as students of ethics. If I come across such a study protocol, I outright reject the protocol, isn't it?
Let us analyze her new method.
Okay, could it be?
It's an example of bad science.
Yes.
The first step where you have to reject on ethical basis.
Okay, in the method which was shown to us, the earlier one, the first sample selection was a bit too long description, which did not precisely say how many mice or what is the category of mice. So we broke that sample selection into 2 sentences saying that 9 albino mice are divided into 3 groups. Then what should be the qualification or the eligibility of these albino mice participating in this test is in the second line, saying that each weighing 20 to 30 grams of either sex. Okay, so group 1 considered as the control group received, now the tense is fine, sir, received normal feed and water. Group 2 being the standard group received aspirin at 100 grams per kg. Group 3 of the weight of the mice. Okay. And after these 3 groups being taken, which were administered these
Study
drugs
milligrams,
after overnight fasting, this was the response taken.
Okay, they've done a fairly good this one. Okay, no. The next group.
We saw, these are the flows that we saw. The first one. So the study aims to compare the analgesic and anti-inflammatory effects of a drug against a control and a standard drug. However, the result section tells nothing about the findings of the comparison. It reveals nothing whether it was a what is the effect of that comparison. Nothing is revealed regarding that. Okay, that is the first flow that we did. And the second flow is that the result section fails to mention how the investigators arrived at the result. No data is given so as we can arrive at that conclusion, how that conclusion was made. That is also not there. And then all the words in the results are in the title case.
Okay.
And then the fourth flow is there are glaring spelling or grammatical error we are not able to arrive at. There is signification. That was the word that was used. Whether it is a grammatical error or a spelling error, we can't be sure of. Okay.
I think this group has covered all the comments. Anybody else with any other comments? They covered everything. Okay. Actually, if you see like pain, how do you measure pain in a patient? Visual analog scale. Yeah, you tell me what exactly you've done, visual analog scale. Here in a mouse, when you place a clip, right, the time taken for this one to, the tail to this one, respond. Okay, so it may be 3 seconds in a normal mouse. If you put morphine, it may go up to 12 seconds, 13 seconds. Write that. Okay, give me the data. Mean plus minus standard deviation, the significance. Okay, nothing is given. Right, all this has to be written. All this has to be given in a abstract. That is not written. That is not written. Both for pain as well as for anti-inflammatory. How it is, what exactly were the measurements? If there was edema was measured, what was the measurements? Okay. So I think this group has done a good job. They have covered most of the points.
Thank you, sir.
So we were asked to comment on, we are from group 4, and we were asked to comment from conclusion and suggest the keywords. So when we were analyzing the conclusion in view of aims, methods, results, we find the conclusion inconclusive. To defend that, I am just compiling all the comments from first, second, and third group, and it is just in gist here. Only the analgesic effect, they tried to show the analgesic effect only, but not in the results, they didn't show the actual parameter, how it was done, or means actual parameter of the time lag. So they tried to show the only analgesic effect in the method, but it is only satisfying one of the objective that is mentioned in the aims and objectives. Next, no statistical analysis was shown in the abstract. So we cannot make out how it is significant, how much it is significant. Then again, if we go back to aims and objectives, there was no evaluation of anti-inflammatory effect. Already it has been discussed, so I'm not going into that. Finally, if we just do not take the scientific aspect, if we just see the sentence was written as title case, where each and every words were starting with the capital. So these are our comments on this, on the conclusion. And the key words which we suggested are anti-inflammatory, analgesic, and venlafaxine.
Human being or a animal? That's more. Somebody putting in these keywords will get a comparative effect of venlafaxine or something in a human model of pain, in a human pain.
So mice.
Okay, the animal.
Mice.
Mice is more
albino
important.
Mice. Yeah. So if we are asked to propose a conclusion out of that, we could make only this much. The study showed some analgesic effect of venlafaxine in albino mice. However, further studies are necessary to support the present findings.
A small such a statement like further studies is not generally this one. Okay, you're not supposed to this one. You can write in the main body of the paper. Even if you write in the abstract, you need to tell what specifically needs to be done. Do not let it hang in mid-air. Further studies. What do you mean by further studies? Tell what exactly you would like to do or you want somebody else to do. Okay, that has to be written. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.